What's up, boys? Konami fucked over pendulums, and I'm here to complain about it. Let's go. Let's get into it. So, what the hell? Why am I so angry? What's going on? Well, new archetype came out in the latest box, Igknights, and the Ignite cards, if Konami did not screw us with the current master rule that we're in for pendulums, would actually be a pretty good, decent deck to play in the game. And they are essentially completely useless. The entire archetype is completely useless because of the master rule that we decided to get. Quick refresher on what's going on right now. You cannot summon more than one monster from your extra deck, more than one pendulum monster. When pendulum monster is destroyed, they get sent to the extra deck face up. You can only summon one of those monsters from that extra deck right now. That's not how it always used to be. Before, you could summon as many as you wanted. So essentially, you had endless resources to go get your Exceed plays, your Synchro plays, whatever the hell you wanted to do. All right? But due to the TCG game being advanced as where it is now, they released a link summoning mechanic, and the link zones open up more zones for you to pendulum summon too. So if you're running no link monsters, you can only summon once from the extra deck. But if you have multiple link monsters that open up zones on your side of the board, you can summon more than just the one pendulum monster. You can summon up to 2, 3, 4, however many that you're able to do that. Now, obviously, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, we don't have link summoning. So we are hard limited to that one zone. Always, no matter what. So we have nothing we can do. No character skills, no anime skills, nothing like that. It'll allow us to get more resources out of the extra. There are some specific ones. Performer Pals have, like, it's called something Gazer or something, where essentially you can grab one of the cards and put it back in your hand. But that's not exactly what I mean. This deck specifically, they all have a similar pendulum effect, which if you have another Ignite card in your pendulum zone, you can destroy this card plus that card, and you can add a Fire Warrior type monster to your hand. So, essentially, and of course they would go to the extra deck upon destruction. So, essentially, between this and some other Ignite cards that we have, for example, the Field Spell, which lets you pop Ignite cards, and there's another spell in here where I can't find at the moment, but it allows you to, here we go, Ignites Unite, lets you pop to add more resources to your hand. This deck can stack the extra deck very, very quickly, more quickly than any deck that's come out. In my playtesting, in tournament footage that I've watched, in game footage that I watched, I've seen that deck get to 12, 15 extra deck spaces. It goes huge and fast. So, basically, the entire idea is you use up your resources, but you don't really. It's kind of like Vindred, where you use up the monsters and you send them to the graveyard because you can just summon them later. You don't really go negative to do that. However, because Konami, in their greatness, did not foresee this, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they knew this was going to happen. They didn't want it to happen. I don't know. All the monsters that you send to the extra deck are basically dead because you don't really have access to one of them per turn, and that's it. So you can't make any plays. So the whole purpose of this deck is to spam out as many monsters as you can and go into Exceed summon. Well, in Duel Links, it would just be Exceed. We don't really have many tuners that would fit in this deck list. So that's kind of the idea behind it. Now, you may think, oh, this is a balancing reason from Konami, but it's not. It really isn't. It's a, it's lazy game design. They don't want to go back and have to change these lines of code for when link summoning comes out. They want to just have pendulums. In a year, we're going to have link summoning, so they want it all to work right off the bat without having to go back and rework the code. Right? And that's kind of been the problem with the pendulum mechanic as a whole, right? We're in an awful master rule for it. we don't have, like, think about it realistically. If we only have 4 cards in our starting hand, so if you're playing pendulums, you already have to go down 2 cards just to initiate your pendulum summon. So the only decks that we could ever get that would be meta-defining in a pendulum world would be decks that have just insane resource generation, so they would be broken by default, because any deck that has insane resource regeneration, think Dark Lords, gets banned immediately by Konami because they don't like those decks historically. So the only decks we can ever get for pendulums will either be broken ones, which will be nerfed really, really fast, or decks like this that just don't function anymore. So I don't know what to say, boys. It's very depressing. It's very irritating when you're trying to play these pendulum archetypes and they just don't work, right? They just don't work whatsoever. They really should, in my opinion, they really, really should just let us play Old Master Rule. It's not going to be broken. It's not going to be broken until we get more pendulum support, which is going to be a year, 2 years down the road. And if it becomes broken, then change it. At the very least, give us an anime skill that lets us have the Old Master Rule, right? Like, at the very least, let us have a skill that allows you to summon multiple cards from your extra deck. I think that would be a fantastic skill to have, and actually have archetypes like this, like Igknights, be meta-defining, as they should be. Because as the way it is right now, this deck could do cool stuff, but it doesn't even function at a basic level. I unironically would rather play Dream Mirrors than this garbage. And that shouldn't be how it is. You should not be compared to Dream Mirror, you know, to be an XC Toolbox deck. So, anyway, that's my complaints, my little rant about Igknights and pendulums as a whole. Konami, I know you're watching this. Please, just give us the Old Master Rule, or give us a skill that gives us the Old Master Rule, so cool archetypes like this actually have a chance to be relevant instead of just you releasing them as box filler. Because this deck would work if this was old Yu-Gi-Oh! This deck would absolutely work. That's it for me, boys. Peace.